Agenda is public participation, and we have a deputation by appointment, and that's Geraint Jane would like to speak on behalf of Be Accessible regarding item 7, draft visitor strategy. So if I could invite you to come forward. This is Mr. Haldon Jones.
Hi.
Yep, come and sit down. I understand that you've got a very short
Very short.
presentation.
Very, very short.
Yeah. Chris is going to set it up for you.
Good morning. This is regarding the accessibility strategy. So, Be Accessible, it has a goal to be 100% accessible New Zealand, and Christchurch is in a enviable position of being able to do this from design rather than retrofit. So we have sent a submission through, so this is just really a very short presentation as part of the okay, there you go. So 1 in 4 New Zealanders have access needs. There are 8 trillion global annual disposable income being spent around the world. 2.2 billion global accessible tourists. This is a huge income for Christchurch if we get our design right. And what we're asking for is to have in our strategy, we're recommending that the strategy recognises the importance of accessibility within design and development of the city. Good accessibility is good business at the end of the day. If you design for those who require extra accessibility, you're actually designing for everybody. It's really that simple. Good accessibility is good for business. Thank you.
Did you make a submission on the visitor strategy?
Yes, there is a submission through Be Accessible.
Just trying to find reference to it in the attachment.
It was pages, I think, where is it? I think it's 15 to 25 or something on the PDF that was online. Got a big blue yellow sticker.
I'm just trying to find reference to it in the actual document, that's all. It's referred to in the attachment, the consultation feedback. Oh yeah, it's under the Earthquake Disability Leadership Group.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. I think there was an amendment to the strategy as a result of that submission.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We only got confirmation of this a couple of days ago. So.
Right. But I think you've raised a really good point. So do people have questions that they'd like to... Yeah, Paul.
We had a presentation a few weeks back from Gil Penalosa around the 880 cities, which is if it's good for an 8 or an 80-year-old.
That's right.
It's good for everyone. This obviously fits
absolutely into that. If you design for accessibility, with accessibility in mind, then automatically it's easier for everybody. And if it's easier for everybody, then it becomes more attractive for visitors to come to your city.
Have you done any work around the cost of retrofitting? Let's just take we've got a new build and a retrofit. The cost difference to
it all depends on the building. It all depends on the space. So with Be Accessible, we have an assessment system. So rather than just saying, well, we need to, I think, meet New Zealand standard, we want to exceed that minimum requirement that is the New Zealand standard. So the goal is, yes, to meet that, but to go beyond and a bit further. And so it's a scalable system that you can then choose what level you want to be.
Is that a bit like a Green Star rating?
It's
like
a little
Green
bit-
Star building, we have an
absolutely.
accessible rating, so Christchurch could be a Green Star 6 rated city if we really...
Exactly. It is very much like a Green Star rating, and it becomes a livable, much more livable city. So we recognise that everybody can't retrofit their building. Everybody can't meet the gold or platinum standard. But you definitely going to meet the minimum bronze standard, which is New Zealand standard. So you choose your level that you want to be. The fact that you're saying there are these other standards to attain, as soon as you say this is the bronze standard, everybody says, well, what's the silver standard or what's the gold standard? So you inform the public that there are better standards to meet.
I mean, when you think about it, it isn't just for people who have disabilities.
No.
For example, I mean, during the period of your lifetime, you might break a leg or an arm or something like that. You might have a skiing accident. You might...
By 2050, 50% of the population will be over 65. So automatically...
I actually don't want to think of that as a particular problem.
If we design with that in mind, then we're designing a more accessible city for everybody, a more livable city for everybody, for longer.
But also a parent pushing a pram is going to face the same challenges as somebody with a mobility scooter, for example,
Absolutely.
or with a wheelchair.
Or somebody breaking their legs skiing.
Yeah.
Extreme sports
Or the mountain bike park.
That's right. But there you go. Fiona Sutton says you design for the locals and
Yep.
the tourists will come to it. So
Yeah. You've got to design with both in mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's what the intention of the visitor strategy is,
Yeah.
is that if it's a great place to live, it'll be a great place to visit. If it's
Absolutely.
a great place to visit, it'll be a great place to live. It's
Absolutely.
actually interchangeable.
and the world recognises Facebook and LinkedIn and all these media sites that say I had a great visit to Christchurch.
Yeah.
Maybe in a wheelchair, maybe deaf, maybe bringing their newborn. It's a great place to visit.
Yeah, yeah. But thank you very much. I think that's a very timely reminder for all of us about why it's important, not just in the visitor strategy, but right across the board in terms of the rebuild of the city. Oh, Paul.
Is there a way we could perhaps plug this into maybe the YETI committee, maybe get some of that thinking through overview? I don't know, is there...
Well, we do have a disability
We have a whole
group.
disabilities policy
Yeah.
and ways of working in terms of ensuring that infrastructure is accessible.
So our role is to cross-check that when the reports come through and make sure they have...
We're talking about raising the bar though, so we've got to...
Could I suggest that Yanni and I work with the Disability Guild here, and we've been wanting that as part of the reporting system, so that our reports, that has gone through, so they have run it, whatever the report is about, has been one of those things that has run past.
Yeah, but we're
So
talking
that-
minimum standard rather than actually raising the bar.
At the moment, some reports don't even include it. So Yanni and I will be working with Gail, etc., to say, well, actually, the reports do need to run past these, and that would be the starting block to ensure that we're not missing any of the points.
Well, yeah, this is doubly timely because I'm speaking at the Be Accessible conference on Saturday, so I'll probably see you there. Yanni.
Yeah, I mean, I think the point through Share an Idea and the Council Central City Plan, we certainly put a major element of that was to be world renowned for accessibility, and that hasn't really carried through into the blueprint. But I think it would be really good to put something in here, and it's kind of touched on in the strategic framework. But I wonder if it needs to be a little bit more. Really at the front of it, so it's really clear that that's our expectation.
If people know that's the expectation and those are the goals, then developers, designers, the whole system then uses that, or as Megan may say, sees accessibility or sees the world through an accessibility lens.
There was a meeting of public sector organisations a few weeks ago with a view to signing up an MOU over this, so I think we need to check
It's about setting
where
bold
we're at.
targets, isn't it? When we set a bold target for zero homelessness, so this is thing where we set a bold target and we do our best to attain the highest level we can. Obviously, budget's constrained.
Well, we've
100% accessibility. I think the only other point I
had
wanted
life
to make
mark in
is
the district plan.
this is much more than just about disability. Accessibility is a lot wider than that, and I think
It's got to be seen as a holistic view of the whole population. We're all going to have accessibility needs at one point or another, whether it's twisting your ankle or ending up in a wheelchair. We all have to have that in our minds. It's not for here and now, it's for the next 20, 30 years.
There has been a whole enhancement of the visitor experience update in the document itself, and it now says promote the development of visitor attractions, visitor experiences, but this is as part of it, and infrastructure that are accessible for all. So the language of accessible for all is definitely there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Look, thank you very much for your presentation.